Patriotism is defined as love for the country. So Dr. Jose Rizal once said, ang hindi marunong mamahal sa sariling wika ay mahigit pa ang amoy sa malansang isda. So, it is very clear that Dr. Jose Rizal wanted to say that those Filipino who choose to conform or adapt to foreign practices and languages is viewed with disgust in our country. We cannot deny the fact that nowadays youth become more inclined to the products of foreign countries, even watching foreign novellas or dramas. For example, they prefer to watch K-drama more than to Filipino dramas or novellas. Before, the situation is also the same. In the time of Rizal, a Filipino used to conform or to study and learn the languages of the colonizers. But the only difference is that there is a force, or they are being punished if they're not going to follow with the rules and regulations set by the colonizers. But it is also evident until now, because as you can see in the ancestral houses and also in the dresses and of our ancestors, and also we are still using the Spanish words like Cilia, Huelga, and Onano. It is a shame for Filipino people who choose to purchase foreign products and compared to the locals. But do we really know what the reason behind why they choose to buy those foreign products? According to the magazine of the Philippine One of the reasons why Filipino people used to purchase foreign products is because it is more durable and it becomes a status symbol. For example, Filipino people used to buy iPhones because it serves as a luxury items and also a status symbols, wherein it becomes a standard for you to be considered as an elite or a rich person. But during the pandemic, it was hard for the teachers to reach out for the students and deliver the important messages of our heroes, especially their literature through classes and even events. I remember that during Buwan ng Wika, when the time is still normal and there is no pandemic, it is a very enjoyable activities wherein you can show your skills through writing, acting, and other performances to show your love for the country. But for me, whether there is a pandemic or not, it is always depend on the core of the person, because we all have a freedom to choose whether to patronize locals or foreign products or practices. It is a challenge for the country's patriots to explain to the younger generation how patronizing foreign practices and products may harm our economy and way of life. For example, what will happen to the local entrepreneurs if their sales of products become low? Another example is when the foreign company or the foreign investors used to operate the mining in Tampakan, South Cotabato. They only give a small amount of income to the landowner, which they should receive a higher income compared to the investors. So as a student, it will be also challenging for me to encourage the younger generation to love our own creations, literature, and products. If we dig deep enough, we will discover that foreigners are very wise to colonize other countries with the use of technology and weaponry. For example, if they see that there is a high number of unemployed workers in our country, so they create opportunities. So that is why The Filipinos, nurses and teachers used to go to abroad, and eventually, if their lives become settled, so they, they transfer into the foreign countries and settle there for good. And also, if the other Filipino see them, they will also do the same. So, as a student, I think I can also make a simple change in the perception of the Filipino people. That settling in our country and loving our own literature is more beneficial to us, starting by making my family and relatives feel love and home in our own country. And in order to incorporate our culture into our daily lives, we should teach our children to mano or bless in the elderly and promote local businesses with the use of our technology. For example, we are going to post it in our Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms. Because, as we know, using technology is very effective. And lastly, be a good citizen. Study hard and learn to choose the right leader. Leaders are the most influential people in the country. They can control everything, including our preferences. That is why education is very important to know the facts and false claims, especially as the election is near. We should not be bribed by promises and money. Our actions could affect our future generation. Coming from an area where native people live, I could really say that because of lack of education, they can be easily bribed by foreign people. Some of them allow themselves to become slaves to foreign people because of money. And they cannot justify or defend themselves due to lack of education. Even before Magellan made a promise to our ancestors, they also failed us. How far are we going to become as slaves to foreigners? Does patronizing them really benefit us? Or do they benefit from us? We should open our eyes to the reality that they are consuming our natural resources and digging into our minds to change our perspective and become foreigners in our own country. What about the sacrifices made by our heroes? Are we going to invalidate their efforts and lives just to free ourselves from the colonizer? I know it is very hard today to encourage the youth and younger generation to patronize our own country. But what I have observed is that they become more engaged in political areas, which is a good sign or opportunity because they are concerned about who will be the next leader to lead our country. It is not hard to love our country. The difficult part is determining how we can show our love for the country while also influencing the Filipino people. Because loving your country is just like involving yourself in a relationship. You are willing to risk everything. Just like Rizal and other heroes, actions for our country are a very concrete example of loyalty. They are willing to lose everything just to free us from colonizers. So, my question to my fellow youth is, are you willing to risk everything to fight for our love of our country and to love our country? Or it is not bad to patronize other countries, but we should not ignore who we really are and the fact that our heroes died for us. You can buy, you can learn and watch other countries' products and entertainments, but the most important thing is that you remain loyal to your country. And always set limitations and always put in your mind and always go back to the past and then appreciate and validate the efforts and the lives of our national heroes.